Hey guys, ALLIE Clifton from the Road Trippin podcast here. As you know, getting comfortable and settled for my new lifestyle here in LA. It's taken this Midwesterner some time, but definitely worth it now that it's all coming together. If you're like me and want to change of pace and you're ready to take the next step, the nerds at NerdWallet are here to help you make your dreams a reality. NerdWallet's team of nerds research hundreds of the top credit cards, mortgages, and more, so you can easily compare and find what's right for you. Maybe you're looking for a change of pace, a home big enough for you and your family to grow, with a basketball hoop up front so you can practice your three-pointer. NerdWallet can help you compare and find the smartest mortgage rate to get some room for you, your family, and your hoops dreams. Ready to compare your way there? Take the first step by discovering the smartest credit cards, mortgages, and more today at nerdwallet.com. MLS 1617539.
I was eating so much In-N-Out burgers my first couple of years. I was just like, it felt so good to have a burger and not worry about like training, not worry about how your body feels. And then I turned around, I was 300-something pounds. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Welcome into this edition of Road Trippin with RJ and Channing. I'm your host, ALLIE Clifton, Richard Jefferson, Channing FRYE. I'm so excited to have a guest, but on top of that, this guest, one of my favorite human beings that I've gotten to know over the last several months, especially working with him at Spectrum. He's an NBA champ. He's a man of many, many talents. We're going to dive into it all. He's the host of Metaphorically Speaking. What a title. We thought Road Trippin was great. His name, Metta Sandiford-Artest. Shout out, Metta. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be back. ALLIE, I know we did a lot of things on television, and good to see Shannon and Richard, my colleagues.
My God,
rookie year. I remember rookie year. We was playing in the playoffs. I think it was your rookie year.
Yeah, it was worse. It was the worst. One of the worst experiences of my life. I had.
Let's dive in.
One of the worst. Well, okay, so Indiana, they make a trade to get Metta and Brad Miller, basically two All-Stars and Defensive Player of the Year, to add to Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal and all that crew. So
no. You're missing some big. Al Harrington, was he on that team?
But there were so many. I think Steve
Jonathan Bender.
Steven might have. But the point was
nice.
They made that trade in the middle of the year, so they like got to the 8th seed. Ultimately, like the next year, I think they were like the number 1 seed. So they shouldn't have been the 8th seed. They were like the most talented 8th seed. We were the number 1 seed. So we go to Game 5, which is basically a Game 7. So Game 7, we're down by 3, or we're up by 3. I get the rebound with 2 seconds left to go in the game. They foul me. I smoke both free throws.
Ooh, trash.
Reggie hits a half-court shot. After the buzzer, and it goes into double overtime. This is in the first round. If we lose this game, we don't have a finals run. We don't do anything, and our season has failed because I didn't close out the game. But that was also the game that the NBA, it was one of the big reasons why the NBA started doing replays and why they started doing the red lights, is because in the game they counted it, but upon replay it was still in Reggie's hands. So our season could have technically been over on a shot that shouldn't have counted.
Wow,
But,
I didn't even
yeah.
realize that.
Yeah,
He didn't give a crap about your damn free throws, Richard.
I smoked 2 free throws, bro. I promise. Like Byron Scott tried to play me in the overtime. He tried to play me in the overtime, but he was like, "Yeah, I looked at you and your face was gloss." Like I was like, because like my life was flashing before my eyes. I'm like, "Yo, I just missed 2 free throws, and if we lose, we're gonna lose in the first round because I missed a free throw." Like,
Yeah, that's the worst feeling.
Metta, what do you think? I think people sometimes just go, "Oh, Metta, the Laker." But I remember Metta, the guy who averaged 25, and the guy who was like a walking bucket. You were basically like a bat out of hell driving to the hole every damn time, and nobody felt like dealing with you.
Yeah, but he was a bat that was built like a bull.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were like, Channing, go get him. I said, what am I doing with that? What am I doing with that? But like, what do you think your best version was of yourself? Like, what team?
I think my best version was probably Houston.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Probably Houston.
you were.
I was cooking. It was crazy because that season, we had T-Mac, we had Shane, and then so I was coming off the bench. I was only playing like 3 minutes a game, actually, the first like 20 games. Then T-Mac got hurt. When T-Mac got hurt, I came in and I came in averaging like 20, and then we took playoffs. But I was on the bench. It was the worst possible. Like to start that season was crazy because I wasn't even playing, and I'm just getting in. I mean, I got in the game with like 2 seconds left. I was like, oh my goodness, my career is over.
Dude, that's the worst. That's the worst. Garbage time under 2 minutes for an old fella.
Veteran garbage time. Veteran garbage time is like, yeah. The first time you start having to do that's.
There is garbage time etiquette. I know I've reached this or talked about this, but the young guys who come in driving trying to get fouls, I have to fuck you up. I got to let you know. Jump shots only.
Shoot jumpers.
Jump shots only. My knees, I probably iced my knees at halftime. I've already taken a shower because I know I ain't going in the game. Laces barely laced up. I'm not trying to get hella sweaty. Shoot the jumper. Let's jog back and forth and talk about what we doing afterwards. We don't need all this. You ain't getting no more minutes because you scored 6 on me in 3 minutes. And nobody cares. You already won.
No, but there is that. Like, so what year was that for you? What year was that for you, Metta?
I was that was 2008-09 season when I was with the Rockets.
So like 9 or 10.
We had a hell of a team too. That was
y'all beat the junk out of us in Portland.
Yeah, but isn't that 9 and 10, and then you went to the Lakers after, right?
Then went to the Lakers after.
But that's okay. So the point that I'm trying to bring up is like, man, people don't understand like those garbage time minutes. Like you got to figure out what you're gonna do because like you kept yourself ready, you kept yourself in shape, and then T-Mac gets hurt, you start balling, and then ultimately that next year, like the way you performed is also what I don't want to say got you to LA, but like at the beginning of the year, if someone told you would have been hitting game clinching shots in the finals. Right, like you'd have been like, dude, I'm not even playing for the Rockets right now. Right. People don't understand that mindset is, bro. You just got to keep plugging away and just hope something changes.
Well, you did that. You did that too because there was times where you had a point in your career where you wasn't playing a lot, I think, and then you came back ready.
Golden State, Golden State. I wasn't playing. Golden State, I wasn't playing. And I was like, dude, this shit.
Utah, you wasn't playing?
No, that's not true. I started 81 games for Utah.
Hang on, but Metta,
sucked.
you've actually shared with us. You shared with us like on our network during like commercial breaks or whatever when we're having small talk about that transition and how it wasn't easy for you.
Oh yeah, it wasn't easy. It actually wasn't because I was 29 years old. I was in my prime, so I'm just trying to get another check. So I get to the, I'm trying to get another check. I get to the Lakers the next year, and I'm like, all right, I know I'm not gonna average 20. I'm probably maybe 10, 11, and it was like 7, right? So I was like, my career is over at 29. I just accepted it at 29. I'm like, it's over. I'm playing with Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe. I'm playing with Powell, and then Bynum's an up and coming dude, and I'm a team player anyway. So like scoring was never like the main thing for me anyway. So it was easy to accept, but it was difficult because I was just averaging 25 against the Lakers in the playoffs. It was just like, I was like,
I remember there was a moment. So like in 08-09, I wasn't playing for the Blazers, but then we ended up playing Houston in the first round, right? So then Travis Outlaw, LaMarcus, and Joe Prisbilla were getting barbecued by Yao. So they were like, Channing, go in. I said, Channing, go in and do what? What am I doing? What am I doing? You ain't played me all year. I asked for a trade, and now you want me to play Yao and get mad that I can't guard Yao Ming? You better stop it. So then the next year, obviously, leave Portland, go to Phoenix. We meet the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and Ron caught that damn air ball that ruined our life. Yes.
Oh, I remember that.
So I remember we were watching film, and I remember I don't know if it was like in a press conference or you yelled it at Phil. You took a 3, just like, a regular Ron Artest 3, and Phil was like, pass it. And he'd go, man, I averaged 25 last year. Like running down the court.
You know how hard that is? I mean, you guys probably know because if you're not like the volume shooter, you're not the man on the team. If you're not getting your shots up, you just never know when you're gonna catch fire. So, but you got to take the in rhythm shots. So it was times where the Lakers, the fans would just boo me. Don't shoot! I got the ball, wide open at the top. No, don't shoot it.
Hang on, let me ask this question. Wait a second. We're gonna go into the same thing. Laker fans have always booed their players.
No. They just grumpy.
Just Ron.
No, because they.
Yeah, just Ron.
No.
What'd you say?
Okay.
I got booed a lot when I was shooting. But I'm like,
Okay,
I just but shooting. I don't know what else to do.
Yo, but like, my favorite thing is like, they say it's like, no, it's not my job to stop doing what I'm doing. It's the coach's job to take me out. Like, I'm gonna shoot.
for sure.
I'm like I'm going to shoot, or I'm going to do the things that I believe I need to do. And then if the coach doesn't like it, he's going to take me out. I don't care if the fans are booing. If coach tells me to take this shot or do this, and then like every once in a while, it's like, well, you know, I'm going to shoot this shot right here. I'm going to shoot this shot right here, and hopefully it goes in. Because then, you know, that's why they're like, oh, you know, if he makes a couple of shots, it could be a problem. But like when you look at this, and Metta, I know you're, you know, your focus is different. When you see a guy like Russell Westbrook, who's gotten so much, you know, kind of media heat, and he's from LA. This is his hometown. He played at UCLA. And look, he's what, 31, 32?
Yeah.
So like he's old. So he's older now. But I'm saying he's older
like
now.
32,
like
33.
30, but I'm saying
Yep.
he's old, he's a little bit older than you were. But like, how did you handle that? I know how you handle it, but like, tell the people how you handled that, because you could see Russ, and even I think AD at times is starting to feel, you know, a certain, you know, way about some of the criticism that might be coming from like the fan base of the fucking Lakers, which is huge.
Yeah. Well, you know, like, I mean, if you're playing with Kobe, he pass you the ball, he don't want you to shoot. You can't pass up an in-rhythm shot. You know, so that's the only thing you can do is not worry about what the fans are saying. Just worry about the flow of the game and the flow and what your team wants to accomplish. You know, that ball swing. You got to just stay in rhythm, and you might make some, you know, and those in-rhythm shots, you get the offensive rebound. So that's a lot what Phil Jackson was saying. He was like, even though you might not want to take the shot, you really contradicted yourself, but even though you might not want to take it, it's in rhythm. And then the ball comes off for go offensive rebound. So that's why I was just trying to shoot it, and then, you know, buying them to clean it up, and, you know, Powell clean it up.
They were huge, bro.
Lamar. Dude, yeah, they
they
were
had the
so big.
biggest-
We had to go in a zone.
Dog, they had the biggest team.
It was a big
Hey,
team.
we went when we played them in the Western Conference Finals. Talk about getting booed. I'm from Phoenix, playing in Phoenix. We were supposed to be 10th in the West. We make the Western Conference Finals. We sweep the Spurs. I'm on fire. We beat the junk out of the Blazers. Obviously, that feels good because I was there last year. We play y'all, and to go from, you know, the Spurs weren't as tall as y'all. So, like, the rotation was different when you would guard me and then Lamar Odom would swing to me. And I'm like, ah, damn, this is another 7-footer. Or like Pau Gasol would guard me and then Bynum swings to me. So I went like 1 for 20 from three. And people in Phoenix are oh, dude, I was awful. The first 3 or 4 games. Awful. And I was like, I'm not shooting. Yeah, later. It was too late then. Kobe did Kobe. It was too late. It was too late. So I was getting booed going to get breakfast sandwiches. Stop shooting. Stop shooting. You're trash. And I'm like, damn, I've been shooting this way all year. It's like, it's kind of hard to shoot when it's like Derek Fisher, Kobe, Ron Artest, Lamar Odom, Pau Gasol, freaking, and God knows who, right?
Yeah,
and Metta, I'm just, yeah, oh, dude, y'all were there so quick. So I just had to, I had to keep shooting and keep shooting. And finally, after, you know, Kobe stepped out of bounds, RIP, and you caught that air ball, you know, that series was over. Then we had to start triple teaming him.
That was a good series, man.
And it was over.
That was a hell of a series, man. That was like, it was close. It wasn't like it was a blowout.
No. But it was just like, how do you guard a guy when you're triple teaming him? And he's slapping your coach on the butt. Like, good try. Like, damn.
What's your favorite memory from that series, Metta?
I mean, Kobe was incredible, man. I mean, I remember playing with Kobe and just like watching him sometimes, and like, wow, this guy's doing amazing stuff. And I had to get my head back in the game because he's always, like in Boston, he had 25 straight points, right? Like all of our points from the third to the fourth quarter. And I remember watching it, you know, in the finals when, you know, a lot of pressure, and he's just like 25 all the points. And I remember just watching him. I was like, wow, he don't miss big shots. And I remember being on the back of the bus one time. And I was talking to Fish, and then Kobe chimed in. I'm like, Fish, how do you make big shots? I literally asked him that question. It's like saying, how do you do, 2 + 2, right? It's like how do you make the shot? Every time you shoot it, it goes in. when it counts. When I shoot it, it doesn't go in all the time. Like, so how do I get this to go in? So I remember we talked for like an hour about that, you know. But those guys, I think Fish hit more big shots than even Kobe that year. Fish always was on time.
Oh yeah, no, that was the most annoying thing about the Lakers. And there was like 2 iterations of the Lakers, and Fish like casually found his way back to LA. Remember, it was like he was in like Utah. I think maybe there was some Golden State, and he was like, "Yeah, I need to get out of here." Blah blah. And then next thing you know, he's back with the Lakers, winning 2 more championships. But dude, D Fish has that .4 shot in San Antonio. Like, he hit so many big shots, bro. Like, I don't know if there were many teams that had like the balance of guys that would make big plays, right? Because D Fish would do it, Kobe would do it, Powell would do, what he would do, and they were just like, but I think that's what, great teams, and if you go back and look at championship teams, it's just like, well, fuck, like, if Kobe's going to pass it to somebody, he's going to pass it to D Fish. And anybody who's been watching D Fish win 5 championships, you know that shit's probably a bucket. He's going to shoot his shot in rhythm at his pace. And it was just, bro, I hated I loved the Lakers growing up, but I hated the Lakers once I got to the league.
I did too, especially when they had Shaq. When we came in early, they had Shaq and Kobe.
Did too.
Yeah, I mean, what you gonna do with Shaq and Kobe?
Dude, I was just looking up the stats in 2000 when they won the championship, and people don't understand, and they like casually leave Shaq out of some of these like top 5, top 10 lists. It's like Shaq averaged 36 points a game in 2000. In 2000, he averaged 36 points a game. Kobe averaged 15 in that finals. And you're just like, and that, that's still young Kobe. Like 2000, He'd only been out of high school. He came out of high school in 96. So he was only, 22, 23. And that's why when you look at Jason Tatum right now, and Jason Tatum is like, oh, he's struggling in the fourth and blah, blah. It's like, hey, like, bro, like when you're 23 and you're trying to lead a team to win a championship, like, show me how many guys have been 23 years old and the best player on a championship team.
Yeah,
or 20, maybe he's 24 now. How many?
44 minutes in the regular season is a lot different than 44 minutes in the NBA Finals, and you're the center of the offense. And that's what, like, I try to tell people. I was like, he has to play because he generates so much opportunities for everyone else. But then Golden State doesn't shy away from going at him. Like, he doesn't get a break. So, like, by the end of that fourth quarter, the beginning of that fourth quarter, his whole body, he just starts settling for jumpers. You could see it's physically taxing on him to get 2 or 3 screens to find Steph or to find Jordan Poole. That's exhausting. Dribble, screen, come off. Next one, come here, dribble, and then go post up. Like, when he gets used to that level of conditioning, he's going to be a beast. But that's what's happening right now. It's like they keep trying to find Steph, but Steph keeps ducking. So he's like, yeah, go play Wiggins. And Wiggins is locking his ass up. Wiggins is, especially in the fourth. Wiggins did a great job last game of locking him up, which is crazy. So it has been amazing to see them play. But I think Boston needs one more guy that could just drive and kick so that Tatum could just get a standstill jumper once in a while.
Yesterday, we were doing the Lakers show, and Geeter was on it. We all know Geeter. We're all very familiar with Geeter. And he said he was out surfing after Game 5 in the morning, and a guy came over on his surfboard and wanted to have a conversation with Geeter, to which he thinks that Andrew Wiggins should be the Finals MVP if the Warriors win. And Geeter said, in very Geeter fashion, he said, I looked at the guy and I told him to paddle his board into the beach, have a conversation with himself, and then come back out and we could surf some more. Geeter think that's absolutely asinine. Having said that, have you been impressed with Andrew Wiggins? And I also want to know, Metta, your thought too about the finals so far and what you're seeing. But also, I need y'all's take on what Magic said, win or lose, Steph Curry should be the finals MVP.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Metta.
I mean,
I'll let you go.
I really enjoy it, man. I think that, so the first part of that question, ALLIE, what was the first part?
Andrew Wiggins.
What was it?
And his impact.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he definitely looks like young and new to this. You could tell. But he's giving it all on defense. I know his offense is not like where he wanted to be consistently, but he's giving so much effort on defense. And he's playing pretty well on offense. He's making some good drives without turning the ball over. You know, so I've been watching. I think MVP. I don't know about that.
Exactly.
You know?
You agree with Geeter. Yeah. But when it comes to Steph in that conversation.
Well, Steph is just, I remember years ago, I like to make this claim to fame. Like right before Steph got MVP, I was like, he's going to get MVP the next year. And I think I said it 2 years before. It was on my Twitter. And then fans was like, no way Steph is going to be MVP. No way. You know, and I'm just like.
That's like your favorite tweet. That's your favorite tweet, isn't it?
It's
like,
you know that. Hey, come on, man.
I love those tweets. Love those tweets.
Digging the archives. I didn't delete that one.
Yeah.
But I thought he's just incredible. I think he's going to be top 25, some top 20 by the time his career's over. Something like that.
Yeah.
He's just incredible. You play with him, man.
I got him a little higher than that.
Yeah, he might be.
I know, I got him a little higher than that, but
you might be.
no, I think here's the thing. We are falling in love with Wiggins. Now, Wiggins is playing amazing, but we're falling in him because we don't have any expectation for what he should be doing.
Right.
Like Wiggins, it's not like we go, well, if Wiggins doesn't get 20, then the Warriors lose. And now we're saying, holy crap, if Wiggins doesn't guard Tatum and guard Jaylen Brown and give them 15 to 20, they're going to lose. I think he's averaging 17. Yeah. But everyone pays attention. They're playing 4-on-4, and Wiggins is looking at Derek White and Williams and all these dudes. And Al Horford, like, y'all forget, he averages 20 for his career. He was just doing it in Minnesota. So he has no expectation for, like, he had big men guarding him. So he's like, oh, that's disrespectful. And he's just aggressive. And he takes advantage. He may not score for a quarter, and then he may go bonkers for 2. And then all of a sudden it loosens up Steph and Clay and those other guys. But to give him MVP he would need to have another 20 and 20 game or 18, 26 and 17. He would need those games.
Steph got 2. Yeah. I'm not going to say, Durant deserves those because Durant was the best player on the team. But, Steph, that's his team, and I feel like he deserved at least one of those MVPs. You should just give it to him, So this year.
Yeah. Well, but that's literally what I was about to say. Is like there's 2 scenarios here. One, the first scenario is if you look at the Golden State Warriors, it doesn't matter if they win the finals and Steph averages 2 points a game, they're going to give the finals MVP to Steph. Like, there's only one other person that might be able to steal it, and that's Clay, because Clay is like he is. There's Mr. Warrior, and then there's Mr. Warrior like next to him. So it's Steph and Clay. That so they wouldn't take it from Clay. Like if Clay were to be on this run and like go like 40 and 42, and Steph averaged 20, maybe, because they're not going to be like, hey, well, Steph means so much to the game. Clay's going to look at him. It's like, listen to me. That is my award. So, so they're going to give the award to Steph regardless if they win. 1, 2, this whole players, we need to give the finals MVP that was an accidental thing that happened one time in the fucking 70s. Let's stop with that conversation of giving the finals MVP to a guy that put up the best numbers on a losing team. We don't reward that in the regular season. Yeah. We shouldn't reward.
Yes, we do.
No.
The MVP award,
but that's not on a losing team. On the losing.
That was more of a joke.
I'm saying the losing.
But
trust me,
just the fifth place team or the sixth place team in the West. Not necessarily the losing team, but just the fifth or the sixth.
Yeah, but that's controversial. So I just don't think that we need to stop this. And Steph, I'm not going to speak for any player like LeBron or Steph especially and say that they wouldn't want that award. But that award wouldn't mean what people think it does. Oh, well, dude, you played so well. And it's also it's a little disrespectful to the winning team. Yeah. It's disrespectful to the best player on the winning team. Mm-hmm. And then it's also somewhat disrespectful to, in my opinion, the teammates of Steph. Because if you give the finals MVP to Steph, you're like, hey, look, Steph, you did everything you can. You were the best player. Right. Your teammates didn't help you. But here's the finals MVP. They suck, Steph. Here's your trophy. It's like, no, bro. This is a team award. No. You can't do that. And let's stop that.
And other people on the other team, they're worthy of it, like a Tatum or a Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure it's Tatum worthy of it. If Boston wins this, I think that's Tatum or Brown's. That's the easy answer. But, you can't reward losing. I'm sorry, guys. We got to get out of this attitude. You can't lose and make it to the NBA. You have to win at something.
And also,
They got to win
the
at
last thing I'll
something.
say, and look, I know we get a lot of heat because we played with Bron, but if Bron's not going to win it with those numbers and the team that he had in 2015, if he's not going to win the Finals MVP with Delhi and Timothy Mozgov and all, like, if he's not going to win that, and you're like, well, Steph has Clay. Yeah, Timothy. He's like, he's got Steph, Clay, he's got Wiggins, he's got an all-star starter on his team. He's also got now if your guys don't give you production,
somebody who should be in the top 75.
If guys don't give you production, if guys don't give you production, that's one thing. But to say you didn't have any help, no, you've got your full roster. Gary Payton II is back. He just gave you double digits off the bench. So let's not make it seem like Steph don't have no help and all this stuff. And his number, he played well, but that's it.
He should have he has the most improved. Clay is top 75. Draymond is top 75.
Draymond's not top 75.
Right? And he has champions on his team.
Draymond's not top 75.
Ish.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's got two.
You know what I mean?
Two Hall of Famers.
Yeah, right. He is basically, who are healthy. And the one guy who won Finals MVP with a bad neck is playing every other game. And he has a Hall of Famer coach.
If you give the Finals MVP to someone on a losing team, I like to think of that as like when we give children under the age of 6 participation ribbons for going out and kicking a soccer ball across.
Man, you better keep that ribbon. Save your money.
Metta, okay. Question for you. Because I know that you have your beverage of choice, your adult beverage of choice. You shared with us your night out with Brad Miller not too long ago during the season, right? Channing has his own wine label, etc. We like to drink on Road Trippin when it's not 9 a.m. in the morning. If you were having your beverage of choice, kicking your feet up, hanging with your fellas, your guys, watching the NBA Finals right now, what is going through your mind when you watch the way in which the game is officiated?
Am I going to tell you the beverage I want?
Yeah, do it all. Walk me through it all. Tell me the beverage you want and what's going through your mind when you're watching the way in which the game is officiated today, please.
Well, probably tequila and soda at this point, because I can't do no more juice and alcohol because it's putting too much weight on me. Can't do no more juice and mix juice with alcohol, and no more margaritas, no more double alcohols. So I'm giving it up.
Damn, no more.
I can't, man. I gain weight so easy. I blink and I'm like, like it's really bad.
Okay, coming from really quick before you answer this question. Coming from the guy that came to Spectrum and we didn't have food the first night and he was like going through the snack drawer, and then the next time we got food and Metta ate the entire thing and he came in after him, he's like, I don't know if I can do the rest of the show. He's like, I'm so full, I ate so much.
I love food.
That was amazing.
Has that been the hardest thing, like since you retired, is to be able we've all retirement's tough for us because people don't understand. We would eat 10,000 calories because we were training 5 hours a day. So even if you cut it back to half of that your calorie, if you're like, I'm not gonna eat 5,000, I'm gonna or 10,000, I'm gonna eat 5,000 calories because we're huge human beings. But then you're only working out maybe an hour or two a day. Maybe you're working out 3-4 times a week, which is great. If you work out 3-4 times a week for an hour a day, like if you go to a class, if you go do this consistently, you will still gain 20 pounds. Like you have to cut your calorie intake absurdly. Right? Like it's like people don't understand, dude, that's how athletes blow up, is because you don't understand the pendulum swing. Yeah. It's bro, I can eat everything. Even as you got older, you get a little bit better. But it's because I was working out and on my feet for 4 hours a day, lifting for an hour, shooting, playing games, sprinting, doing all this stuff. The amount of shit that you have to cut back, because that's the part where I get in struggle. I'm not good at cutting back. So I just I need to work out more.
When I retired, I was eating so much In-N-Out burgers my first couple of years. I was just like, it felt so good to have a burger and not worry about training, not worry about how your body feels. And then I turned around, I was 300-something pounds. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Damn.
In-N-Out protein style is where it's at, though.
Yes. God's
all right. You eat one a week.
I actually eat 2 a week. Hang on, Metta. Back to my question, though. How do you feel about the way the game is officiated right now? What is going through your mind when you're watching it?
Well, they're going through another transition. They went through that first transition, I think, in 2010 they was transitioning out of the physical basketball. Then they opened the game up to overseas players because a lot of overseas players couldn't really make it in the NBA. It was like a rough game. So they opened the game up, right? And now they're going back to a little physical game. You could tell like the NBA might have been talking. It's a little more physical, and they making a transition. They still calling some flops, like the Jordan Poole flop. That was ridiculous, and then like Stephen Curry actually got fouled on 2 threes. They missed that one. I think that was like game 4. I feel like the officiating could be a little bit better. I was looking at some of it now. I'm not too happy with all the calls.
I just want to tell everyone I am thinking about becoming an official. I'm truly thinking about.
First of all, hang on. First of all, you need to add context because that is probably very disrespectful to the actual officials that go through the grind of it all. One of my best friends going through it, my college teammates, she would be like, "Really, Richard, to just sit out there and say that I'm going to become an official as if it's not hard work at all."
Well, who is implying that I'm not willing to work hard? Like, hosting a show is hard. Being an analyst on our jobs are hard. That's just
Give the context.
Give
the context.
That's why I don't do a lot of hosting, man. It's really hard.
That shit is, but it's also fun. But like I'm just thinking about becoming an official. So let's say this, hypothetically, I want to hear your guys'. Hypothetically, if I were to tell you guys I were going to go through referee training and then referee in Summer League, what would you guys say?
Get in the gym and try to get a tryout so I can cuss your ass out up and down the court. I would get in shape. I would be like, you mother effer, you're trash.
You up. So the only reason why I want to.
No, then I'm complaining about you. I hope you do all that work
then
so that I complain about
for
you.
not leaving the court in a timely manner.
I
know these rules, bro.
Richard, you know that you have
I know what car you drive. I'll pop your tires.
Run, right?
Yeah. What? Like, what?
Richard's in great shape, right? You gotta come in the studio.
Richard is a runner. I'm more of a biker.
Hang on. First of all, Channing, I agree with that. I sat in those practices and watched the both of you run. I would agree with that assessment. You are a biker. You are correct.
Yeah, Channing is not a runner. I run from out of bounds to the 3-point line as least as possible. Like, I don't like getting to the corner. That's an extra 20 feet. I don't want that.
God.
You can have that. That's why the top of the key is my joint. Okay, I don't need all this running.
Here's some more context, and I've been fucking. So there's some idea floating around because I've had a great relationship with the officials. I always love because the officials are hilarious. That's the thing that people don't know. If you actually get to know them, when you have a moment and you hit somebody or you foul somebody, or you're frustrated. If you're yelling at somebody that you like kind of know and you've communicated to them, not just when you're yelling, the officials are pretty funny. They're assholes just like us, but they're pretty funny. So, there was an idea floating around. It's like, hey, Richard, would you be interested in doing like some legit referee training and then maybe refereeing like a quarter at Summer League? And I was like, yes, that sounds amazing.
Dude, the game moves so fast, Richard. You would get
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say. The game is moving too fast for Richard's eyeballs. Richard, you can't see. It moves too fast. Like even when you watch it on TV or when you watch it live, you're missing 6 or 7 things that may have an impact on the game. You can't call all that. You don't see the game like that.
Yes, I do. 2,
yes,
I'm
I
not
do.
Gonna just show up. Yes, I do. 2, I'm not going to just show up and just do whatever the hell I want. No, you got to go through training, right? You got to go through training, kind of like, like a driver's license training. Right? You got to, and then you got to jump on the freeway. It's like you got to take your learner's permit, then you got to jump on the highway. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get my learner's permit, then I'm going to jump on the highway.
The first thing you do when you get your permit is jump on the highway? No, thank you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You haven't seen Clueless.
No way.
You haven't seen Clueless, but there's
I have,
a great
actually.
scene in Clueless.
I used to run around and act like, I used to be.
She's seen a movie?
So are you going to do it, Rich?
Actually.
Well, yes. If they approve it, I think it'd be one of the funniest fucking things of all time. Because I'm definitely going to give somebody a techno.
Yeah, except for the guys
For a
playing.
quarter. And the last thing I'll say about this is basically when you do the training, you know how the referees work in like that triangle, that three where they kind of like float. So you're not having to do it all. You're just having to focus in on like, you know, what it is that you need to kind of pay attention to. And yes, I'm going to get it wrong a lot, just like every other official. And two, it's summer league, so there's only like going to be like 2 NBA players on
Jeremiah, we need to clip this soundbite so we have it come summer league. Let's take a quick time out because we have a few products that we'd love to tell you about this week. Hey everyone, it's Allie again here for NerdWallet. You still dreaming about a home with a driveway hoop? Well, what if we told you NerdWallet can help you take the first steps to make those dreams a reality? NerdWallet's team of nerds research hundreds of the top credit cards and mortgages and more so you can easily compare and find what's right for you. And since you're getting a front yard hoop, let's make that backyard perfect for barbecues and NBA watch parties. NerdWallet can help you find a low mortgage rate so you can find the right place with lots of space in both yards. Ready to compare your way there? Take the first step by discovering the smartest credit cards, mortgages, and more at nerdwallet.com. NMLS 16753. All right, road trippers, have you heard about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Our entire crew loves it, and we know you will too. Prize Picks has the best NBA prop game across the market. They offer more NBA props than any other DFS operator, and they offer every player and stat category that you can think of. Want to get in the game now? There's no better time with the NBA Finals in full swing. All new users that make their first deposit and use the promo code Road Trippin will receive an instant 100% deposit match up to $100. All you have to do is pick 2 to 5 players and select an over-under on their daily projections. And you can win up to 10 times on any entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers. Prize Picks even allows mixed sport entries. Use the award-winning Prize Picks app either on the App Store or Google Play today. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Make this year's NBA Finals a little more exciting and enjoy a special bonus offer on us. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code ROADTRIPPIN or go to your App Store and download the app today. Remember, Road Trippers, Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Okay, Metta, back to you for a second. Because we've called you on this podcast Metta Sandiford-Artest. Channing has called you Ron. And then we've called you Metta World Peace. Can you what?
I've almost called you Ron like twice.
I saw that, I know.
Yeah,
It's all right.
it's my bad.
Can you walk us through the name changes for yourself and the meaning behind each of them?
Well, obviously, Ron Artest was the name, and then I think
Was your name?
Was the name? That's my son's name now.
Yeah.
He's at 30. But I think like when I was going through a lot of stuff in the NBA, and for years and years, I was going to change my name. I remember Chad Ochocinco changed his name, so I was like, oh, I might change my name. But then Metta World Peace came from like overtime meditating and doing all this Buddhism stuff. It took a long time, like maybe 6 years, to finally get to Metta. Then I played for Phil, and then I was really like inspired by Phil. So I said, I'm gonna make the change. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So Metta was the first name, and then World Peace just came like naturally. There was a lot of stuff happening at that time, and I just kind of wanted to set my own narrative. And then later, I got married. So when I got married to my wife, her last name is Sandiford, and then she didn't really want to be Miss World Peace at the airport. You know what I mean? That's kind of, you know what I mean? Hey, Miss World Peace. That's kind of a lot, right? So we just I took her last name, and then so it's Metta Sandiford-Artest, and she wanted the Artest last name, so I said, all right, cool, I'll change it.
Okay.
But my stage,
Yeah.
my
This is
stage
World
name
Peace.
is World Peace.
She wants the same last name
name.
as her little. Because is your son? What's it? So what's your son's name? Ron.
They all Artest. So yeah, Ron Artest.
Oh, Artest.
Yeah.
Well,
Ron
and
Artest.
look, and so for the people like I grew up. Ron, what year did you graduate high school?
97.
97.
Metta.
So like, yeah, no. So
Damn!
God, damn it. Look, I'm not. When I watched Ron. God, shut up, Richard. Okay, sorry, it's the coffee. I watched Metta when I was 16 years old. So I've known him since I was like a kid. And so when you would get to the gym, and he was maybe not as big as he is now, but like the way he was in the league. Metta was like that big, kind of like before he went to St. John. Like he was like the strongest dude
Yes.
out of all of our like things. So it was like that's why sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to retrain our brains.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
because I've been watching. I was watching Ron, and now he's Metta. That's the only reason why. Just
A lot of
because
people
we were
call me
like
Ron
kids.
though, like from New York. And early in LA days, people call me Ron. Like a lot of the kids will call me Metta because they only know me as Metta.
That's all they knew.
Or a really young kid will call me Mr. World Peace. But like most people in Indiana is like they don't even know Metta. They just Ron. Everything.
They're like, oh, that was just for TV.
Oh, that's just Ronnie? Is that Ronnie?
Metta.
Look at him coming down. Hey, I got a funny story. I don't know if you remember it. So when I was playing for New York, David Lee and I, we played in just like a summertime, like a YBL league game, but it was in the Bronx. And so I have a car, me and D. Lee go down there, and we're playing for like Diddy's team, I guess, whatever that was. And I think you were playing for another team. So I'm outside just waiting. They're like, yeah, we're going to wait, because security, we're going to let Ron come in. You rolled up on the back of like a 90s two-door Mercedes, a gold Mercedes, drop top, sitting on the back. So if this is the car, you're sitting on basically the trunk of the car, holding on like this, like he's in a parade, coming down the street, bumping music. His boy, or whoever was driving, pulls up right on the sidewalk. Metta comes off, shoes in hand, socks, walks into the gym, no shoes, just socks on. It was like, hey, let's have a good game today. And I was like, oh, I'm not on your team? I was like, okay, this ain't it. I'm not getting paid and I got to play you in the summer? Nah, homie. I said, you can keep this. You can keep this.
I played
that's crazy.
3 times a day while I was
everywhere.
In the prime of my career. I would play 119th and 2nd, Rucker, Westfield, all day just playing basketball, man, on concrete. All summer. On concrete.
That's just...
Metta, speaking of that,
crazy.
great segue. You mentioned Rucker. Did you see the ESPN's most recent 30 for 30 on street ball?
I didn't see it yet.
And the And One mixtape?
Really good. I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but I heard a lot of good
You're
things
in
about
it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was that dude. He was that dude.
Well, like back, a lot of times they don't put me in those docs in the Rucker. I never lost a game in the Rucker. I got 3 titles in the Rucker. I never lost one game. But
damn.
Well, I missed
That's because nobody wants to play you.
Huh?
Yeah. Whose team did you play on?
I played for the first time I played was with Stephen Marbury and Skip Tamalu. I was 16 years old. Mm-hmm. I didn't play much. And then the next couple of years I played with Diddy. So I got 2 titles for Diddy. And I got one title. No, I got 1 title for Diddy, 2 titles for Fat Joe, in the Rucker. Yeah, so I played.
Is that the one where no one showed up in the fact? Because I played for Jermaine. I played on Jermaine Dupri's team, and I feel like we beat Fat Joe's team. You weren't there, but they had Kenyon. They had, I think, maybe Jamal Crawford. But I want to ask you one. I saw the most random thing online. So people don't know, if you don't know Metta, there's a New York legacy to what he's done, and this was, I want to say, towards the end. And when I say this respectfully, but New York had a stretch. It was Steph, it was Sebastian Talaferro, it was you, it was Lamar, and there was even more guys. But I saw Elton Brand,
Ben
guys,
Gordon.
I'm talking about the New York City guys,
People forgot
it was
Elton Brand was nasty.
Omar Cook. People might not remember that. No, he just retired.
My God.
He just now
stopping.
Yeah.
He just retired.
What?
I was like, I saw a video clip and I was like, wait, that's the Omar Cook. He played overseas and was like he went overseas and became he kind of was like Stephon Marbury in China, but he was overseas balling, still playing. I'm like, bro, he's got to be 40 years old, 39, 40 years old.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I played with Omar.
Was he on your Riverside? Yeah, he played on Riverside team with you, right?
Yeah, he was our point guard, but he was always 2 years younger than us, but he was such a great point guard. So he always played up. He started for us, and he just led our team. We actually kind of maybe extended his growth a little bit because he was feeding the ball to Elton, myself, when and Lamar sometimes, and I think that kind of made him a team point guard, a pass first versus being in his prime and scoring. But he's
you were give me the ball,
right.
Give me the ball, yo, bro, you're here to get a lot of assists. You don't shoot the ball.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. He had a little time where.
That's a dirty AAU team who you just named. Just me, Elton Brand, Lamar Odom. It's just like, oh, just us three. You're like, what do you mean us three?
Yeah.
People forget how good Elton Brand was and how strong that fool was. They forget Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
They only know the Laker Lamar Odom. They didn't see the Miami Lamar Odom. They definitely didn't see the Clipper Lamar Odom. And then and they only know the Laker. They don't know the Indiana, the Houston, the Sacramento.
If you had to
right?
play Riverside,
They're
if you had
like,
to play the
that's a
Gaucho,
crazy
Riverside
team.
Church, those were the teams that like you're just like you come from the West Coast and you would hear just stories, and all of a sudden you'd walk into the gym. It's like, all right, everyone like, and look, we were from Arizona, so we didn't walk into any gym like with any sort of swag, but we would walk in. It's like, all right. Everybody keeps talking about this Riverside Church. Like, man, I've been hearing about them for 10 years. Who's on this team? You're like, those kids aren't 16, yo. Like, who are those kids? Because it was like Lamar Odom driving to the game. Then it was like, like Metta over here bigger than people's dads. Then you had point guards out here doing weird, and you're like, yeah, like maybe we should go back to Arizona.
That team was crazy. We would win championships by 50 points. Like we lost one game to Baron Davis team that one summer, but then we came back and beat them. But Baron was rolling. They beat us. They were the only team to beat us. We came back and beat them in the finals, but Barron wasn't there. We beat them by 20 in the final. Barron wasn't there, but that was the only team we lost to. But we beat so many teams, and we were just trying to run the score up. It was just like, it wasn't fair, man. It wasn't fair, but it was a great team, man. Elton always been the same, too. He's been the same professional person since high school. Same guy.
Yeah? Just that dude.
Yep.
Is there a story
Allie,
that's
you
not
got
out
something
there
to
from
say,
your
so.
Rucker Park days that like stands out to you, or like that one of your favorite stories about that time?
I mean,
That
Rucker
maybe
was
we don't
insane
know.
at that time. Our era, it was crazy because like the games was packed. People on top of the trees, on top of the bridge, on top of in the buildings, just jam packed like a club, like it's just unbelievable. And it's just not the same. That's what you remember about the Rucker, going to the games and police barricades, can't get in the park, and it was just crazy. But now it's not like that anymore. I don't know what happened.
I know, obviously, like one of the topics that came up during that movie was about street ballers being able to play in the NBA during that time. And like almost every NBA guy said, absolutely not. You mean to tell me how many guys are in the NBA?
No,
How many guys are in the NBA?
I played against 400. I played against some guys. I played against one guy who came straight out of prison, 7 years. He gave me 57. I brought the Maloose to the game. This is dude from Kingdom Projects. And Maloose, it was about to be a big fight too. I brought the owners. They drinking like it was wild. He was wild at the game, but it was some talented players. ALLIE Mo, who passed away. ALLIE Mo, like 6'9" point guard. But a lot of these guys, it takes the discipline. It takes the the conditioning. It takes a lot to make it to the league. But when you talk about just basketball, it was a lot of guys who played who was really talented.
Well, it's so that's the difference. It's
Wow.
like there's a difference between being talented
Right.
enough to play in the league. Oh, there's a ton of these guys. Like Skip to Malou, like people don't understand. And like this, like when Skip was starting to do that, there were guards that could do all of the J Will, all the J Kids, Skip to my Lou. Like he was one of the best. But like there's just a different discipline, and Metta knows this. There's a different, like the NBA is a business, and that's the part that people forget. It's not just a business, it's the business of basketball. So not only do you have to play basketball, you have to be disciplined of every day you got to show up, every day you got to work, every day you got to compete for your job. Even if you average 20 points, even if you didn't play in the beginning of the season, you got to stay a professional like Metta did in Houston, and then he goes to average 20, and then after he averages 20, he goes to Lakers, and they're like, don't shoot. And you're like, wait, I just said average 20. Like, if you can't handle those things, you can't play in the NBA. It's not like very few players are just like, hey, you're a top 10 draft pick, you're our leading scorer, and then you're going to do that for 15 years. Like that's you can count on both hands the amount of guys that have those type of careers. So if you can't handle the business of basketball, and that's what a lot of people miss out. Fuck. Yeah. I'm not the most talented guy that I played against that played. Like you, Metta, you definitely played against guys when you were like 19 years old. You're like, this dude is way better than I am.
Definitely.
Like I like watching him play, but like he never made it to the NBA. You know?
Metta, who is other than Kobe, other than the regular names, who are some of the guys that you were like, this dude is a walking bucket, where you had to get good night's sleep to play against him.
Richie
They were going to
Hamilton,
give
one
you
of those
some
guys.
buckets.
He always stands out because he running a lot, and I had to chase him because at a point in time he was so good. He wasn't my position, but then I would have to guard him sometimes. So just chasing him, it was just a track meet, and that kind of felt like guarding like Kobe and LeBron. Kobe and LeBron pretty tough, but Rip reminds me of a lot of those guys just because of his work rate. And then you have guys like Michael Redd was pretty solid, wasn't easy. You know, Michael Redd.
That little
solid.
slingshot lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah, awkward, just jerky.
Who else? It wasn't a long list. Huh?
I know you mentioned Brandon Roy once.
Brandon was nice.
I mean, I know you mentioned Brandon Roy once.
I was just like, wow. I mean, yeah, he would score. I got him some games, but it was games where he was just very solid. One dribble, pull up, handle. Yeah, can shoot from everywhere. And sneaky bounce.
I would
sneaky bounce.
rarely say this, and I want everybody to take the context with this. I used to play just okay. This is why I could play okay versus Metta, right? And this is one of the special things. Like, this is hear me out. I never dribbled, right? I never dribbled. That was not my thing. So the guys that would play with the ball, right? And there was only like one or two that could play with the ball in front of Metta, but it was like Kobe, like team, like those guys could play with the ball in front of him a little bit because they could just shoot 25 times. Me, I never did that. So the only thing I would do is I would let J Kid do all the work, and then they would throw it to me, and either I would shoot it or I would drive it. And so it's like one time I tried to like cross it over in front of Metta, and he took it. And I was like, I'm never dribbling again. So it was like I could play just okay because it was like I'd look up and I would have like 18 or something.
Yeah, you
like
always
that.
played solid. You always had a solid.
Yeah, I always played
line.
because I would never mess with the ball. I'm like Jay, look, Jay, look, dribble a little bit deeper because when you throw it out, either I'm gonna shoot it or I'm just gonna straight line drive. I ain't doing this post up because I couldn't post them up. I'm not gonna do like.
I can't recall one bad game I had against you. I was thinking about that. Maybe I always think about when I guarded guys, but you always came out the game playing well. You never played bad.
Because I never messed with the ball. I never messed with the ball. I never did it. That's the reason why I can say this, because it was like going into the game, my only mindset, I was like, I turned into like Luau Deng. I would just like catch it and drive or catch it. Luau,
he was nice for a year or two.
He started on like the run and drive.
There's some names that are
run and drive.
Oh, I hated it.
Oh, it was the fucking hardest thing. Him, Andre Karoleko. Because there was no defense to it. Like there was no defense to like Antoine Jameson. Like these guys would never really like do a lot of dancing. They would just catch the ball and either shoot, catch it and drive, or catch it and make a play.
People forget Antoine 20,000 points in his career, man. People really be forgetting about how good he was.
20,000 points.
Yeah.
He was a problem at that position.
Yeah.
You'd be like third quarter. I'd be like, damn, how's he at 20? What the hell? Floaters, these little winky dinky floaters. He would shoot these little weird hooks, right? Shoot his jumper, and you're like,
he was one of the hardest guys for me to guard because I'm like, I don't know how. I've never seen this game before. He's like he doesn't really dribble, but he's good. He's like Antoine Jameson, no handle, but just pure bucket floaters for six. Right now, if he played in the league, he would be bodying people. He would kill because he was a stretch four that could post up smaller player. Like he was.
You can't guard him. I remember guarding him, and it was like, how do you stop him? I remember times not being able to stop him because those shots is coming from all over the place.
I'm telling you, he would shoot from his shoulder. Then he would like hit you with a floater. Then he would hit you with a pump fake, like running hook. You're like, what the Lakers, and I thought how do you practice these things? It was me, Antoine, Kobe, Dwight, Powell, Snash, and a couple other people was on this team, like an amazing team. And I just for sure knew we was going to win the title. Because I'm like, you got to double to Kobe, you got to double Powell. And Antoine can score. So I'm like, how do you beat us, bro? Yeah. We got swept by Dallas.
Dallas. You know how you beat you? Dallas shot like 80% from three.
Yeah,
that's how they beat you guys that year.
They killed us.
Oh, they shot. We couldn't believe it because the Lakers are just, whatever. And all of a sudden you're watching like Dallas is really going to sweep these boys. And then in that game 4, I remember that game 4, they shot. No, but
when Bino,
they just shot the ball so well. Like, it was just like, no one's going to beat Dallas right now.
Yeah, it was really
Peja was
hard,
hitting
yeah.
shots.
Metta, we love having
yeah,
you
I forgot
on.
about
We don't want to take your time. I will obviously see you a little bit later doing your
Absolutely.
podcast
Thanks a
today.
lot.
But before we let you go, I think it's a story that'll never get old, and you telling it is the ultimate. Can you take us through, obviously, for all of us that are now on the media side, it's like one of the forever lasting sound bites that, especially for the Lakers, they'll play over and over. And it's when Kobe passed you the ball and you shot the three, obviously during that run, and the way in which you handled the media. Obviously, it would be completely different if that happened today, but back then, social media, etc., wasn't that big just yet. But just kind of like what that moment was like for you, and then going in and how you handled the media.
I mean, so that game, it was a crazy run because I wasn't playing good all the time. You know, I was just trying to make it. You know, just stay consistent in my thought process. But then I had a really big game 7. After the game was over, I was like, oh my goodness, I had a big game. I didn't even notice like what was happening. I mean, I only had 20 points, but I had some key.
Only? You had 20 points in a game 7, bro? I brag about having 9 rebounds and 2 points in a game 7.
Man, you was big in
I think I had 9 minutes.
It was actually really surreal because after everything I've been through in my career, I said, yo, the basketball guards is never gonna give me a shot at the title, you know. And for sure, I was back at it, you know. So then everything just kept hitting me. So when I was going back in the locker room because they got Powell and Kobe. They're not really looking for me. But I'm like, yo, I had a big game. I go to my media guy. I said, why am I not on the podium? Right? So I'm like, y'all got to get me up there. So I wasn't in the schedule. So I'm just waiting by the podium. He said, okay, you're up next. I said, all right. So that's when I got up there. My Wheaties, you know. I'm like, I really wanted that moment. I thought I had a chance in Indiana. I thought I had a chance in a couple other places. So it was just like incredible. And then going through the whole playoffs, you know, where wasn't really touching the ball for 20 times down the court. You don't touch the ball, right? So for Kobe to pass it, but the key was to stay ready. I was just like, I was talking to my therapist and everything, and she's like, just stay ready, stay ready, stay ready. So the whole time I'm always like in a triple threat position. Even if I took one game, I had 2 shots, but I was a triple threat for the full time, you know. And then that time I was in triple threat. You know, it was just fundamentals, and then I was like, oh wow, it just happened so fast, and it was like a little bit of like bitterness and excitement and frustration that came out in that moment. You know what I mean? As I'm like, oh, why he passed me the ball? Finally, it was times where I'm like, damn it, pass me the ball. You know, I'm wide open.
You're like, Kobe passed me the ball.
Did it ever cross your mind not to shoot the ball in that moment?
No. Because it's all about the flow of the game, right? So I'm not really thinking about me.
Yeah.
Or I'm not thinking about like if I'm gonna embarrass myself. It's all about like the flow of the team. You know, so what's the best shot,
Yeah.
you know, for that team for the team at that point. So I was pretty much naive. It could have been an air ball, honestly. It could have easily missed it. And
But it didn't, and the rest is history.
yeah. But
And
yeah,
Metta is a champion.
absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome.
Metta is a champion.
Metta,
Absolutely.
you're wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on, man. Appreciate it.
See what y'all doing, man. It's good stuff that y'all doing, Rich. I
course.
love seeing you on television. Shane, I see you coming up.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Man. Yeah.
And you gotta catch Perk,
Yeah, I'm
man.
trying. You know, I'm trying my little here and there.
Gaining distance on everybody, man.
Ain't nobody gonna
listen,
work as hard as
Perk
Perk.
ahead of that.
Nobody gonna
Killing
work
it,
as hard as
man.
Perk.
I know, man. I've seen him when he
Perk
first
works
started. man. I
every
was
day,
like,
3
congrats,
times a
man.
day.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's why like anybody's oh Perk. I'm like, man, if you want to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and argue with Stephen A, go right ahead. That's what that man wakes up every day and does. I don't got it.
yeah, he's killing it.
That does it for this edition of Road Trippin. Join us next week as we'll wrap up the NBA Finals and get into some off-the-court storylines that have caught our way heading into the draft and free agency. As always, like, rate, and subscribe. Have a question or topic for our next show, you know what to do. Text us or leave us a voicemail at 657-522-5578. That's 657-5-CALL-RT. Until next time. All right, Road Trippers, have you heard about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Our entire crew loves it, and we know you will too. Prize Picks has the best NBA prop game across the market. They offer more NBA props than any other DFS operator, and they offer every player and stat category that you can think of. Want to get in the game now? There's no better time with the NBA Finals in full swing. All new users that make their first deposit and use the promo code Road Trippin will receive an instant 100% deposit match up to $100. All you have to do is pick 2 to 5 players and select an over-under on their daily projections. And you can win up to 10 times on any entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers. Prize Picks even allows mixed sport entries. Use the award-winning Prize Picks app either on the App Store or Google Play today. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Make this year's NBA Finals a little more exciting and enjoy a special bonus offer on us. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code ROADTRIPPIN or go to your app store and download the app today. Remember, Road Trippers, Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy.